Welcome back, guys. So, what we do in the last scene is gonna make this look more believable, which is to add stitches across this. So let's get to it. So to add stitches, I'm just gonna go into this texture set first. So going to select the texture set. Then I would create a new fill layer. This fill layer let's just give it red for now, and then add height to it. Add some little bit of height information, and I'm going to add a black mask in there. Okay, so we're going to be using the select the marks. We're going to be using the paints along paths tool. That's what we're going to be using. Then I'm going to need to change the I think I'll change the brush size. Also to I'll need to move this up. I need to kind of change the alpha to stitches. Change the alpha to stitches generator. I believe that's the one. Okay, so for this line stitches, but I think we need two. Let's go over to the line stitches count. We need for the count we need I believe we need two. Yes. So let's see what we get from it when we kind of draw along the parts. I feel like I should isolate this. Okay. Oh, I completely forgot this inward part. I'm supposed to have something for this inward part. So let's select fill, select this instead. So just to give it a material actually. So we should have the same fabric material on there. Yeah, that's fine. So go back to the part tool, painting, select the marks, and then let's do our paints, or rather draw our part in there. So we need to make some adjustments to this. Let's start with the size of the stitches, then adjust the spacing. Also need to increase the size some more. So they're just gonna find the right size for this. I think we're close to finding the right size. Not too big at the same time, not too small. Just a good amount to actually make us see what we're doing in there. Then we need to actually change the angle also. I think this is the right angle to use for this. So we can continue on. So this needs to go across the entire model. So it needs to go across all the way to the opposite side. Which with the part 2, it makes it a whole lot easier for us to actually create those stitches with the part 2. It makes the work a whole lot easier. Move our light around. Making sure I'm doing this as accurately as I possibly can. All right. But now just some weirdness happening in here. But first of all, let's first go in and then visualize what we have. I'll go back in. I think I might need to adjust this brush size a little bit more. need to adjust the brush size a little more. I think we need to select it first for it to be active. Okay, so the issue now we're having in here is rotation of the the rotation of the stitches in here. On this other part, it's looking a bit off, looking quite off. So here's what we're going to do. Let's go as far as where we feel things started trailing off. It started trailing off around this region. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this or hide this for now. Then in here, let's see if we can delete. Okay, you can't really delete that. The best thing we can do is to use a different brush. But keep in mind the size we have in here. For the size 0.84, so we want to keep that consistent across the entire mesh. Then the spacing 1024, 84, 124. I would go to my paintbrush, increase the size of my brush, paint full black, and somewhat erase all of this along these parts. Okay, I'll turn it off. I'll go to the next one. I need to match, or rather get the orientation difference on the opposite angle. So on this angle, I'm going to get the orientation for the threading a bit more accurate this way. Then figure out where it went wrong. It went wrong around this region. Or maybe we can tilt this a little bit more. Yeah, something like so. Then we'll go over to the paintbrush. Oh, this particular one is actually quite, this particular angle is almost quite close to what we need it to be. Almost across the entire mesh. So I think we can, let's see. I think the only part we need to fix is just around here. Yes, the only part we need to fix will be around here. So I'm going to just do a quick paint in here. Come to the opposite side. Do another quick paint in here. Okay. And I'm going to add a black mask in. So in here, I'm going to paint, kind of create a new parts. Then change the orientation to kind of match what it needs to be. Yes, at best this way. I'll do the same for the opposite side. Because the idea is to get this to look as accurate as it needs to be. So something like so should be fine. So yeah, I think that should work just fine. That should be just fine. Go back to the paint brush, select this, go back to the paint brush. For the paint brush already, I'm just going to paint this off. Okay. Now each particular stitch is actually different colors. So let's continue on with this. I'm going to select this part 2. Let's create stitches around here. The work is quite, this process is quite easy. The only annoying part is that the directionality of your stitches might just be a little bit off, which we just need to kind of adjust to get something close enough. So you can see how it's way off. So we just need something that is at the very least good enough to work with. Something close enough. You can see how it begins to go AY around this region. So we need to kind of paint that again. So increase the brush size. So the region where it begins to go off, we will just repaint those. I think from somewhere around these bits, I'll clean that off. Let's paint it again. Okay, I need to undo that. Paint something new. I still kind of memorizing what we have before, which is going to be an issue actually. So let's go up instead. And let's paint from this direction instead. Still have almost similar problem. So I'm going to stop here instead. And I'm going to create a new one all the way here instead. And then adjust the angle. Yeah, perfect. That will work just fine. So sadly, we just have to kind of rework some parts to make it look good. But that's fine. So long we get our desired results, it's completely fine. Okay. Reduce the brush size, clean that up. That should be fine. So at this point now, we can actually change this to the need to change this to the right color for it. So it should be on full white instead. Set this to full white as well. Okay, fantastic. So this will work just fine. Think I may have the height information might be too deep. Okay. Yeah, I think this we can work with. So there are still some other parts we need to work on. So let's go to the next parts. I will group this, duplicate this group, white stitch. This should be brown stitch. Okay. Then we need to go in and then add the black marks in there. Black marks in there as well. Then let's go in and then start the stitching process for it. I'll change the orientation a little bit more. So I'm going to be changing the orientation until I feel like the orientation is kind of straining off. Then I'll just stop. I think at this point it's kind of straining off now. It's straining off, so I'm just going to stop. Then I'll start a new one. Then this I'm going to adjust the orientation. I think this is a faster way to actually work. Once we see that the orientation is already looking a bit awkward, we'll just stop. So the orientation is beginning to look a bit awkward. Let's stop and go in and then start a new one. This time around, let's start from the bottom. Then we change the orientation to kind of match the directionality of it. Okay, perfect. This will work just fine. You can just do this in one swipe, so which makes better sense. Then we can just change this to a more golden brown tone, more brighter brown tone even. That should be fine. All right. Moving on, I'm actually going to copy this. Let's see where we need to add stitches. Let's bring everything back out. The next bit to add stitches on, let's select this instead. Okay, let's see how far out that goes. Okay, I see where it goes now. So we can start. Let's paste the stitch in there at the black marks, go to the stitch. Okay. All right. We can change the directionality of it. Now that's looking a bit awkward. Let's just do the first one all the way here like so. Then we end it. Then we create a new one that goes around. Change the orientation. So once you start seeing that it's beginning to, the directionality is beginning to look a bit awkward, we'll just change this up immediately. So it's beginning to look a bit awkward here. So we're going to stop and then go back in and then start the drawing process again. This time around, we'll adjust the directionality for it. All right, so it follows a specific direction for it. Okay. Now it's begin to look a bit awkward on this part. We'll stop this again. Go back in there. Start the process. Change the directionality of it. Pretty much like so should be fine. All the way here. Change the directionality a little bit more. Stop it. Go back in there and then all the way here. Just change the orientation. That is fine. So I'm trying to add these double stitches first on the necessary regions before doing the single stitches. I think this is for everything that's to do with the single stitches and double stitches. I think this should be everything. Now let's go in and then adjust the stitch. Let's adjust the stitch in the line stitch. Set this to 1. Okay. I think this one kind of does a pretty good job by putting the directionality a bit more accurate. Okay, kind of messes up here, so we need to stop it now. Need to stop it and then create a new one. Change the directionality to be a bit more accurate. All right, stop that. I think that should be just fine. So let's move on to something else. This one still single stitches, so I'm going to make a duplicate of this. Add a black marks. This particular one down here is single stitch, but I think we're going to do a lot of work just to go around the entire piece. It kind of ends in here, so we can do, let's start from around, let's see how far out it goes. I think I need to bring everything back out so we can properly know where we need to stop this. It doesn't go across, just all the way here should be fine. So let's get in there. Like so. I think I might need to increase the size some more. And then the spacing, I need to adjust the spacing also too. All right. Let's adjust the orientation. Stop this. Start a new one. Adjust the orientation. So it starts going a bit AWOL on that part. So I'm going to stop this, go in there again. Change the orientation. Okay, stop this, go in there again, start a new one, adjust the orientation, think the orientation is not in the right place, adjust this again. Okay, it just needs to go in all the way. Let's get in there closely. Pretty much like so should be fine. Then we'll just repeat the same thing on the opposite side. Adjust the orientation, stop this, create a new one. Adjust the orientation, stop it, create a new one. Adjust the orientation for this. Okay, stop this, create a new one. Let's adjust the orientation so it makes sense. All right. Okay. I think I will need to clean this up some more. And let's draw something better in there. All right. Let's do one more before we wrap this up. Sure you guys already get the idea. So I'm just going to go around because we still have to do for this and also on the edge. Then lastly on the back side, and then that's pretty much it. So I'm sure you guys get the idea already. So let's just do, let me copy this actual. I think we have, let's just do the one at the back instead because we're still on the same place. We're still on the same thing. So we can just do this back part as the final piece. The directionality seems to be keeping the shape. Oh, now we have a mess in there now. So I'm going to stop this and start a new one. I don't want to kind of continue from the other part, so let's give it a little distance. Change the orientation. All right. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. So we can just finalize this in the next lesson where we just do this one in front here and then we should be good. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye for now.